Resident Evil is an amazing franchise that has been going on for more than 3 decades at this point. While I'll always follow the game releases, I never paid a proper homage to it, which means it's time to go back to 1998 Arklay Mansion 2002 version. This game lets you choose between two characters, Chris and Jill, which have some minor differences in the story and have their own unique supporting characters. Big Belly Papa Bear Barry for Jill, and the most precious and amazing Queen Rebecca for Chris. I have decided to go with Chris because he's my guy for real, and since Resident Evil 5 was my first ever game in the series, I had to pick him. Opening cutscene narrated by our boy Chris lets us know that people have been going missing or straight up eaten alive, so STARS goons have been dispatched to investigate. I gotta say, for these elite cops, they sure get humbled really quickly by losing their members to some zombie dogs within seconds of dispatching.
This way.
This is when I realized that the writing in this game is gonna be hilarious. In the mansion, we find another one of the STARS members getting eaten alive by a zombie. Picking up a videotape will let us see how this guy died at the end of the game. This guy is a bum. How do you die to a single slow-ass moving zombie in the wide corridor? Honestly, skill issue. But I was innocently unaware of what's to come. Resident Evil is a hard game. It will kill you, it will annoy you, and it will challenge you. But it's also a very charming and unintentionally funny game. I played this game blind because walkthroughs and guides are for the weak, feeble men with day jobs. Playing this game blind is the best and the most frustrating experience out there. This game does not hold your hand at all. One thing I quickly realized is that 6 item slots is brutal. Since I had no idea what to do, I went around picking up every single item from the floor, which very quickly backfired for me. I could not find or access an item box because I needed inventory slots to progress, and just as I was thinking of restarting the game, I realized you can put this emblem back into its place. What? Why was I never told about this? Also, I hope you're ready to inspect every single item that you get in your first playthrough. To be completely fair, I did not mind it at all, as items in this game are very shiny and pretty. On the other hand, this allowed me to properly admire this game's looks. This game came out in 2002 and is just an HD remake of it. It is gorgeous. God damn. How they managed to pull this off is amazing. I guess the sacrifice is the fixed camera, and it's the nastiest enemy in this game. You will change camera angles 3 times in the same 5-meter stretch, while your movement changes respectively to the angle. Sometimes, angle is so shit you can't even tell if zombie can grab you or not. For every complaint I have for this game's mechanics, it makes up for it twofold with just the prettiest art direction, amazing map design, and creature designs. Speaking of the map, the mansion is absolutely huge, and on my first playthrough I would get lost in just how big and convoluted it is. I played Resident Evil 5 first, so my Chris is a steroid Hulk, so it was very jarring to see this younger Chris. They could not be more different. Chris from Resident Evil 1 is a chug who can't overpower a single rotting stumbling zombie. Resident Evil 1 managed to make zombies horrifying. You will see 3 zombies in a corridor and start sobbing because it is that bad. Zombies are actually the most powerful enemy in this game. I know people hate on dogs, but they are pretty easy to kill and you can do it with just a knife, and most importantly, like every single other enemy, they despawn when you kill them. So resources wise, they are very low cost enemy. Now zombies on the other hand will either take 10 trillion bullets and an additional item to get rid of them for good, or you'll have to rely on RNG to pop their head, otherwise you'll make them really powerful and fast. Now it's a good time to talk about my first encounter with what I call a zombie corridor. A very narrow and a long corridor that is absolutely filled to the brim with zombies, more than in open locations. Zombies in this game crave standing around as groups in corridors. There are multiple of these in the game. Choose wisely which corridor to make safe. We got the East Gang and the West Gang. Trust me, it will make sense. For my first playthrough, I never tried killing the zombies because it felt like a chore to fight them, and it led to a creation of this mega zombie corridor with 5 fucking zombies, and I would get beaten every single time I passed it until this high cortisol exposure training turned me into an ultra instinct Goku and unlocked dodging skills never before seen in a human being. I'm not kidding, I unintentionally made the perfect dodging training ground by luring every single zombie to this corridor and not killing any of them. And because Chris is so goddamn weak, they will grab and kill you. But it also makes the moments where Chris pulls off clean moves, blowing shit up smooth, and juicy headshot moments hype. I never celebrated an RNG kill this much in any other game. After running around wasting my defensive items for a good part of 2 hours, I finally managed to kill the dogs on the balcony, which allowed me to get an imitation key that I could replace with a real key, and it opened the rest of the mansion for me. This was when I met Rebecca for the first time, and I fell in love with this character. You cannot comprehend how relieved I was to finally meet somebody else who isn't a beef jerky in this mansion after roughly 3 hours of wandering around. Anyway, this guy Richard needs a serum, so we quickly go and fetch it for him. After this, Rebecca will be available in the West Room to heal us up whenever we visit it, which makes her the best character in this game, unlike Barry, who constantly tries to kill you. Because Chris is a Neanderthal, he cannot do actions that require fine skills, such as playing a piano to unlock the secret door, so we recruit Rebecca to help us, and we finally get to use that beginner bait emblem from the dining hall. And now we fight the first real boss of this game, Young, the creature that wounded Richard and left him in a bad state. I accidentally learned that it actually was an optional boss, and I quickly skedaddled out of its way. I was going to kill it when I would have more prep time. The room with the big snake contained the last mask I needed to open the coffer in the backyard, and it definitely had a boss fight in there. At this point I was running very low on supplies, so I grabbed a knife in case I needed to have a prolonged fight. At least the zombies leading up to the place were gone, so it was a pretty safe passage. My arsenal included 5 pistol bullets, 2 8 sprays and a knife. Looking back at this fight, I was so unprepared to what's to come. A goddamn Crimson Head emerged from the coffin and proceeded to rush at me. This guy does some crazy damage, and because it is also a zombie, it can soak up a lot of damage. Safe to say 5 bullets were not enough to deal with this guy. Luckily I had a dagger with me, so when he went for a grab I was able to use it, but unfortunately it did not kill him. So I had to resort to the most desperate measure, close quarters combat. I whipped out my knife and gone to business. Unfortunately, if he grabs me, I cannot attack him, and if he slashes at me, I get stun locked and I can't retaliate. And Chris has goddamn short hands, so he can't even reach him after a grab without the reposition. Also, look at this stupid ass jumpy camera I had to deal with during this fight. After using my second first aid spray, I was hanging dear to my life and I locked the fuck in. Why does this Crimson Head has a combo moveset like it's goddamn Street Fighter? This was the hardest fight to this point, but I persevered, and my prep time has paid off to some degree. Oh, and I only found the shotgun after this fight, so I could have made my life a lot easier if I did that first. Now with the shotgun, we are no longer a victim, we are the stars. Resident Evil is an easy game. By the time I hit roughly half point of the game, I realized something. I am goated. Unironically, if you follow the lore of this game, BOWs escaped and Umbrella couldn't contain them, so they ended up killing everyone. Everyone except motherfucking Chris Redfield and his boomstick. This guy shows up and shoots to death every single monster that Umbrella couldn't defeat. Remember the snake? Gone. Although I get poisoned and Rebecca comes to rescue. After all of this, it's time to leave the mansion and venture to the courtyard. I spent embarrassing amount of time trying to pick up these items and then went outside. This place was so creepy. I could hear the dogs in the woods, and I was scared that they would jump out of there at any moment. And then I got a radio call from Wesker warning me about some invincible monster, so the anticipation was making me very nervous. There was a quick and easy puzzle at the graveyard that allowed me to get the best weapon in the game, Magnum. If a man and an object can make love, this is it. Magnum is such a meaty weapon. It was done perfectly in this game, and you can instantly recognize its rarity. It's actually funny how this survival horror game makes a hand cannon better than many shooters out there. At the cabin, in the very end of the map, there was a key item that I needed to pick up. After failing to notice that I can descend into some random hole on the ground, I finally found a crank, a Resident Evil staple. This leads to the funniest scene in Resident Evil 1. Now at the residence, we gotta fight the most bizarre set of enemies. It made me stop and think to myself, what was Umbrella doing anyway? They got T-virus that turns people into zombies if they're incompatible. If they are compatible, they turn into basically uncontrollable monsters. That part I get. Giant zombie tarantula though. Giant zombie sharks. A zombie wasp. These guys really had no idea what they were doing and just slapping T-virus on anything, huh? And I'm not even talking about the giant boulder trying to crush Chris. When I saw a piano in the mansion, I legit thought they would try to drop one and kill Chris with it. This is how bizarre and loony Arklay Mansion is. At the residence, we get eaten alive a couple times by the sharks and do this minigame where a giant shark is trying to break in and kill you. This was very scary moment despite the absurdity of it. I had to unlock my 7 sense chakras to figure out what to do. This section rewards us with an upgraded assault shotgun, which becomes a main staple in my arsenal until the end of the game. RIP Richard, I don't even know how you ended up here. With Assault Shotgun, we beat a giant tentacle monster from a different genre of Japanese games. On the way back, the following cutscene then plays.
This room is equipped with all sorts of medical supplies. Want me to treat your wounds?
Yeah, would you? Thanks. Be strong, Rebecca.
The characters in this game are so goddamn goofy, I love it. It feels like they were written to be characters in like a manga panel. However, dialogues being in real time and being in 3D makes it so much funnier. And Chris looking like John Cena is just a cherry on the top. I love every single one of the characters and I can slander them for ages. Everyone except for my queen Rebecca. She is so helpful and I will protect her from any and all lizard people trying to get to her. On a completely unrelated side note, her alternative costume gives her ginormous dump truck. Unlocking an assault shotgun made me realize something. It unlocked a precognition. Chris is not actually weak. He is a gigachat killing machine in this game. Look at me in my flow state. Hunters, get the quick trigger, idiot. But this did not stop the game from making me clench my butt cheeks. Because I was saving roughly every 15 minutes, I ran out of ribbons on my first visit to the residence. This is impressive because in normal mode you get so many ink ribbons you practically should never run out. However, I did, and because I also used up every single ink ribbon in the mansion, next hour and a half, including the most annoying boss in the game, had to be done without saving, meaning I couldn't die. Coupling that with me having no idea if and when I will see another ink ribbon turned into a very memorable experience, especially considering instant death traps in this mansion. At this point, zombies in the mansion get replaced by hunters as well, but I'm already too skillful to be bothered by them. With the new key, we fight Yawn again, get 2 books, get a battery, and then unlock a cave passage under a waterfall that was inaccessible before. The way this game paces itself with unlockable locations is so good. At some point I didn't even realize it was basically backtracking. The caves were nothing interesting in particular, except for boulders. I do wonder if this experience made Chris trained to be able to punch boulders up the hill. We also get Chris's exclusive weapon, Flamethrower, which just makes one optional boss a bit easier. Then we proceed to this August's room and learn that it's Lisa Trevor, daughter of the person who built this mansion, and she is technically a tyrant. While short, this was a very eerie moment for me, and I was so immersed in the atmosphere it was actually making me go yikes, as this child was here for something like 20 years at least. Anyway, we rob her bedroom of anything that is not sticky and gooey, and it unlocks us access to the last area in the mansion. There we meet Wesker again and find Lisa Trevor for the last time. This is a gimmick fight, as you need to push 4 boulders and the fight will be over. I do find it funny that Wesker just stands there in the end. Well, in my case, I think he fell off the cliff. After that, we are now able to unlock the last part of the game, the laboratory. At this point I decided to use my Magnum, as I had plenty of ammo stored up. This made me feel so powerful and made it feel like it was a real endgame. Despite this game having no levels or stat upgrades, just wielding a more powerful weapon at the end made me feel like my character progressed in the power scale. It was very timely too, as these roach zombies were actually pretty scary. Luckily they dropped to a single bullet. We restore power to the elevator, meet up with Rebecca and head to the bottom of the lab, where we meet Wesker stealing last remaining data about the tyrants. He shoots Rebecca, so it becomes on side at this point. Anyway, he gets kidnapped by the tyrant before we can do anything, so we have to fight the tyrant ourselves. This is a very easy fight, as the tyrant just slowly walks towards Chris. Oh hey, note about Birkin and the G-Virus. Turns out Rebecca is alive and she was shot in the vest. I wonder if Wesker did that on purpose. Rebecca sets the self-destruct off. We free Jill from the cell and escape the lab. The last boss of this game is so cool. Throughout the game we knew via gameplay and lore notes that killing zombies activated T-Virus in a way that made them faster and stronger. And of course it applies to the tyrant as well. And he is so much faster and stronger than anything we have faced before. It really nails down the point of being the ultimate enemy. But in Resident Evil, nothing is immune to a rocket launcher. This game took me about 11 hours to beat, and it was such a journey that for the next 2 weeks I played nothing except this game. It's infuriating, annoying, dated, but also so captivating and enjoyable. Oh, and another complaint I heard about this game is the door animations and how people got frustrated with this game. But this game is not meant to be played like a high-octane action game. This game requires patience from you, and I think door animations are a very intentional choice here. You plan your route, you think about the key items you will need, enemies you will encounter, and the door actually gives you a very short break from sometimes an assault of 10 trillion zombie dogs chasing you down the corridor. And the door animations are really pretty and unique for every kind of location transition you will encounter, be it a door, a gate, or a ladder. I ended up having about 7 playthroughs in this game for 100%ing it, and I never installed the door skip mod. So, skill issue everyone, you got patience mod. Resident Evil is a fun game. After beating the normal mode, I jumped right into real survival mode, which is a hard mode with extra limitations. It was a breeze. You know you're turning into a Resident Evil nerd when you get hyped that the door on the east side of the mansion is now reusable. I also choose to run this costume because Chris looks like Jesse Pinkman. Honestly, running through this mode was so fun. Despite the increased difficulty and less resources, it made me feel more skillful in this game. I knew the routes, I knew the boss fights and enemy placements. It all clicked so well, it made my brain feel very nice. Check out these pristine zombie dodging skills I have now. Knife only run was the next on the table, and I decided to do a couple more achievements with it. I was going to have no save, knife only, sub 3 hours run on very easy. If the previous run made me feel skillful, this run took it 10 steps higher. I learned how to dodge hunters, I knifed Crimson Heads, it was so much fun. Everything except Plant 42 fight, because that one gave me aneurysm. Putting a knife only challenge in a game with a boss like this is pure evil. Last fight with the Tyrant was basically a slapstick comedy. Chris literally killed him by stabbing his toes. Resident Evil is a classic, and for a good reason. It challenges you in what seems like a harsh and unforgiving ways at first, but also rewards you for learning it in such a unique and a fair way. I have never enjoyed doing platinum on any game like this. After beating this game in every way and form it had to offer itself, I can confidently say this game will never truly age. In a way, Resident Evil is like a cougar. She's old and dated. She doesn't realize that you don't like her smoking in your face, but also she is hella fine, funny, and got some real quality time to offer. And if you made it this far, maybe leave a like and consider subscribing for future uploads. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.